So he's usually this good? It's just passing bunnies and squirrels. Cars, that's right. And he doesn't lunge at the cars, he just freezes?
He just freezes.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go.
Kobuck lunged at cars during the first several weeks I had him. And I'm like, dog, that's a real easy way to get yourself an early ticket to Kingdom Come.
Luckily, we don't have that problem.
Yeah.
He usually just freezes and tries to backpedal.
And that's a tolerable issue. Not good, but it's not.
And he's still a lot better than he was. As long as it's not super scary, usually I can at least, it might be slow, but I try to keep him moving through it. That way he doesn't completely freeze.
So I want to talk for just a minute here about Samara and Buford's progress. The first session I ever had with these two, right when we got to the corner here, this dog literally completely shut down. He would not take another step. Even if I had had a prong or a slip lead on him, I would have had to have dragged him using all of my muscle power. Right there, he just adamantly refused to go any further, and she had been stuck there with him like that for ever since she brought him into her home. And I think this is a really good example of just how persistence and gradual desensitization plays such a huge role in the progress of any dog who was fearful or shut down or resistant, whatever word you want to use to describe his prior demeanor. And on that walk, his tail was literally tucked underneath his body, wrapped around his pee-pee. And now it might not be up and wagging and lollygagging, but it's not tucked anymore. And believe it or not, that little shift in his tail says a lot. But the fact that he is able to walk around the block now peacefully with her, it's night and day difference. And I think I would venture to say having a lawnmower start up like that would have freaked him out. Maybe not. But it seemed like he was freaked out by more stimuli than just cars and rabbits. And he has a very relaxed look on his face. He's forging ahead a little on the leash, but he's not pulling her. Why don't you tell him no, and I'll tap. There we go. Checking in with her. So this is really, really major progress. And neither Buford nor Bella were, when I met them, the most extreme behavior they had was their crate nonsense. And we just left the house right now and Bella didn't make a sound. But, I've dealt with so many other dogs from Lucy's Bully House that were way more extreme cases than Bella or Buford, where euthanasia was never even discussed. And now they're in their forever homes and they're doing okay. So again, I don't want to harp on the trainer that recommended these dogs for euthanasia. That I've said my bit about that. I guess my only point would be neither one of these dogs right now, as they are, as an unfinished product, neither one of them are at a point anymore where the thought of rehoming them would be unrealistic. It's not. So neither one of these dogs are human aggressive. They've never bit anybody, right? They're not inherently dog aggressive either. They have the tendency, like many large, dominant, overstimulated dogs do. And yes, they had a fight with one of her other dogs. But Samara was just telling me that when she first had Buford in her home, before that incident where she has kept them separated from the rest of her pack, Buford was playing with a couple of her dogs and bouncing around with them and getting rough with them, and it was no big deal. So I think Buford is actually more rehomable than we've been giving him credit for, but especially in recent months with the progress Samara has made taking him on walks, practicing obedience training. They are maybe halfway through the process of being properly remote collar trained. They've got a lot of experience with having unwanted behaviors corrected with remote collars, but in terms of using remote collars to insist upon proactive behaviors, they've got a ways to go. But Samara works like 37 hours per day, and she's got a whole other pack of dogs, and so there's only so much she can put into progressing these dogs. And if they were in a long-term foster or foster to adopt home of someone that had more time and I continued to work with them, it might just work out splendidly, especially for Buford. So here we got Bella, and I want to point out a couple things about her demeanor. Tail up a little more than Buford's, not quite as timid, but way more overstimulated / easily distracted. Definitely trying to lead the way and forging ahead on the leash. But we just started walking, and as we all know, with challenging dogs, that first 5 or 10 minutes can be the most challenging, and then they kind of settle down and settle into a heel, which I'm already seeing her do. And if you feel her trying to forge ahead, tell her no, and I will tap.
No.
Because you have to be the one that decides where is that line, and that's a tough decision to make. I'm a Nazi about it. If the nose goes past my leg, I'm marking it and tapping.
No.
And a lot of times that can be a little unnerving in the beginning, but at least I have clear criteria so the dog learns like, oh, that is the line you don't want me crossing. But if we're hesitant to mark and correct, we never have that clear criteria. So a lot of times the dog's like, I'm not really sure where the line in the sand is drawn. Checking in with you there, I like that. She's not pulling, she's just forging ahead a little, and that's, you know, shit, all kinds of untrained dogs do that. Hell, I know people that have peaceful existences with their dogs that aren't this well behaved on a leash, so again, mad progress. She's a little bit more nutty than Buford. Well, maybe not just a little, maybe a lot. But again, like, this is night and day. The first time we went walking with this dog, she was pulling hard and really just constantly scanning, looking for shit to trip out on.
Like
that bird right there would have sent her in motion some months back. Just so you can see, like, I mean, all she did was condition them properly, and she's been really, really consistent with continuing occasionally to have them wear the muzzles, particularly with Bella on walks in the beginning. She was real uneasy having her outdoors without the muzzle, but all I really want is to show here that they are accepting of the muzzles. They're not thrilled. I've never really met a dog who loves wearing a muzzle, but look at this. It is no small feat to be able to just toss a muzzle on a dog like that without them resisting or trying to back out of it. And now he's got it on. She's given him praise, the affection to let him know we like that. And as you see, there's no pawing at the muzzle to try and get it off. And he's happy to accept affection, no aggression. Not that him and Bella are never aggressive towards each other, but sometimes when a dog's wearing a muzzle and another dog that doesn't have one approaches, this dog feels insecure because it can't bite and it knows it, so it can be growly and you know, aggressive in its demeanor. Or it might be extra docile. Every dog is unique. But as you can see, he wears a muzzle like a total gentleman. Let's put one on the little lady here. Good boy, Buford. Buford, big Buford, you're such a good man. Yes, you are, buddy. And as you can see, she accepts hers every bit as perfectly as Buford. I mean, this is the essence of well muzzle-trained dogs. There's no trying to avoid the muzzle going on. They're totally conditioned to it. And you see, they don't appear to be like uncomfortable or fearful once they have it on. They're totally good with it. That is such a good girl. You're so good. And hey, for anyone watching this that is not experienced with muzzles, and I want you to know that when you see a dog wearing a muzzle, you should not immediately assume that that means the dog is dangerous or aggressive. A lot of times it just means they have an incredibly responsible, caring, awesome owner or foster. One of the greatest gifts you can give to any dog is to properly muzzle train the dog, because you just never know when you might need a muzzle. Even the best behaved, most docile dogs in the world that you've known and had for years, what if that dog gets hit by a car one day and you have to pick it up and put it in your car to take it to the hospital and it's got a broken hip? You're going to be really glad that the dog is muzzle trained at that point, because every dog has their breaking point, you know, and if you're trying to pick up a dog with a broken hip, no matter how much it loves you, that's a dangerous position to be in. And then what happens when you get to the vet and they need to handle the dog and put it on a table and examine it, or get it x-rays, or even just give it a shot to put it under so they can give it x-rays? You better hope the dog can get a muzzle around it, because if not, they're stuck. You're a good girl. You're such a good lady. Yes, you are. Very good.